Plymouth Argyle, a brand new rebuild save on the channel, a club that has never played at the top table. In fact, it is the biggest city in England that has never hosted top flight football. We need to change that. That's what this save is going to be all about. I'm ready. Let's begin. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you are new here. My name is Clayts, and today we are starting a brand new save. Are you ready for it? There we go. Look, we have been appointed as the manager of Plymouth Argyle. Today is going to be the first episode in what is going to be a little bit of a series. Now, lots of you have been asking for a new series on the channel, a bit of a let's play, as well as the fact that I asked you what you prefer, and you guys seem to prefer the rebuild. So I thought we'll do a bit of a hybrid of those two things. And today we're going to do episode number 1, the first season of our save at Plymouth Argyle, and then there'll be future ones where we do season 2, season 3, 4, 5, 6, however long it takes us to get us to the very, very top. I want to go and get to the Premier League at the very least, and then maybe establish ourselves as a Premier League club. How does that sound? We'll see how it goes. We're going to do a rebuild, but over the course of a few episodes. That's basically what this is. It does mean we can get into the narrative of things a little bit more, really into the meat of the save, find out who our favourite players are and all that type of stuff as well, which I like the sound of. I've also seen a few comments on some of our rebuilds too, saying we're flying up through the leagues and just doing really, really well. And to be honest, I wanted to make it a little bit more difficult too. So the one rule for this is also we can only sign free transfer players. That means you can't buy anybody. It also does mean, though, we're not going to be able to loan in anyone. Now, if you've ever done a lower league save in England, or maybe in other leagues too, the loan system can really, really help you out. You can fly up through the leagues by just taking some of the Premier League players that aren't quite ready to start for those teams. And it can be quite easy, to be honest. We're not going to be able to do that today. And in this series here, we are only going to be able to sign players on a free transfer. So we're going to be scouting out those contracts that are expiring and hopefully bring a few good ones in to get us hopefully to the Premier League. So are you excited to get started? I'm excited to get started. I think I'm ready. I've played the first season of this save, and I'm going to show you who I've signed. I'm going to show you the tactical setup. I'm going to show you, hopefully talk you through some of those reasons too, as well as looking back at the history of Plymouth and then hopefully the future as well. Let's begin. Right, I know you're going to hate this, but before we begin, if you are looking forward to this series and you think this is a great idea and you want to come along on the journey with me, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's also loads of other videos as well that you can go and check out on the channel as well if you're new here. Make sure you give the video a like as well. That shows me that you're enjoying it, right? And also, the comment that you can leave me down below today is, who is the best free transfer signing that you've ever made on any FM ever? Because that's a bit of a theme for today, isn't it? I'm going to be looking for those bargains. I want to know who yours is. Who is the best player you've signed on a free transfer? Let me know in the comments, and let's get into this. For real this time. Okay, here we are on day 1 in the save then. I'm going to show you what I was faced with when I first started this save. I'm going to show you how I came up with the plan and what I decided to do going forwards for the rest of this season. So as you can see, the first thing that you find out is that there's a fair few players that are going out of contract at the end of the season. That includes Brendan Galloway, who I actually looked at and thought he could be really useful in this. He's a left back who can also play centre back. He's 6'2". You know that I like my players that are tall, right? He was someone I was thinking, let's get him a contract straight away. He's been offered one. So was Kieran Agard. I want to show you the squad as well and the state of affairs, basically. So if you go to the season preview, Plymouth are predicted to finish 17th in the league. So we are going to need to improve on things, right? We are not predicted to do very well in our first season. In fact, just avoiding relegation, I'm aiming higher. We want to get promoted first season. Whenever I start one of these rebuilds, I always think the lower you go down, sometimes the easier it is to get promoted. I think we can do it this year. It's definitely possible. Just having a look at the squad as well. We are going to need to bring some people in though. Now, who should we bring in is the question, isn't it? Before I had a look at who is available on a free transfer, because obviously that's all we can do here, I did come up with a little bit of a plan, a bit of a tactic based on the squad that we do currently have. Let me talk you through it because it's a little bit out there, right? I've called it the pasty, and it looks like this. Now, it looks weird, right? It's not quite weird. It's really what I've thought of this being in my head is a bit of a 4-3-3. We've got, it's a bit of an off-center asymmetrical 4-3-3. But if you have a look at it, we've got a back four. We've got 3 midfield players albeit one of them is an inverted winger on this side. My idea for him was to tuck inside, join these two and be a midfield 3. And then you've got your 3 strikers here. I found that inverted or inside forwards or inverted wingers, mainly inside forwards actually, if you get a big tall lad on there, they can be really effective at the back post. I kind of wanted to utilise that as well. And we've got players that could do it. Let me talk you through the team to show you then. In goal, it would be Mike Cooper. He is the better of our 2 goalkeepers. We've got him and Callum Burton. Mike Cooper's just a little bit better. Right back, we're going to go with Joe Edwards. It could be James Bolton. James Bolton's got an injury here. To be honest, either of the 2 of them here. He's out for 2 to 3 months. So we started off with Joe Edwards at right back. Both could be pretty useful in there. Edwards can play in midfield as well. He's actually a very decent midfielder. I'm going to start Edwards at right back to start the season anyway. As we go through, I'll show you. Centre backs, we are going to go with Gillespie, who is going to actually play on the left-hand side because he is left-footed. Alongside him, we are going to do Dan Scarr or James Wilson. These did rotate quite a lot. This system that we're using is quite gegenpressy. It's pretty out there, to be honest, for League One, but it does mean we are going to need to rotate. I'm going to put James Wilson in there to start with, and then at left back, we are going to go with Brendan Galloway, the former Everton man. Brendan Galloway, right? Yeah, he is. He's going to start left back, could also play centre back. He's going to start as our left back. That's the defence. I decided to put an anchor man in the midfield to give us a bit of defensive support. Jordan Houghton is going to be that guy. In the midfield in front of him then, 2 players. One of them is going to be Connor Grant, who's going to play as an advanced playmaker. Quite like him as a player. He's pretty useful, bit of a box-to-box. He's going to play as a playmaker here for us. On the right-hand side is going to be Ryan Broom. Really like him too. He is already on loan. We are going to allow it because I've not signed him on loan. He's already at the club when we start. I know that I said free transfers only. I didn't sign this guy, as you can see. So we're going to have him for this year. We won't be able to extend that for next year, though. That is our midfield 3. In front of him, now this one's a bit of an out there one, but we've got either Danny Mayer or we've got Ryan Hardy, who is not familiar there, but I actually think Ryan Hardy could be a really good option on this left-hand side. He is what I just talked about, that tall striker that might be able to get on the back post. To be honest, I don't think he's the best option there because he's a really good option to play up front. So I'm going to move him there, and we are going to play Danny Mayer on this left-hand side. The other striker is, well, actually, the other striker is maybe where we're a little bit light. Now, that made me think, who should we go and sign in the window? And I came up with what I think is an absolute barnstormer of a signing. It is Yaya Sanogo. Here he is. Look, here's his profile before we sign him. And I just think he's 28. He's interested to sign for us. He is big. He's relatively fast. 12 acceleration. It's not massive, is it? But in League One, it could be good enough. He's 6'4". He's got 17 jumping reach. I just looked at this profile and I thought, do you know what? He is going to score goals. Most recently, he was playing at Huddersfield in the Championship. He can drop down a division. I just had a feeling he'd score goals. We have brought him in. Welcome, Yaya Sanogo. That then completes our team. That completes our system. I will show you the tactic as well if you just want to see it in here. The pasty, as I've called it. Just if you want to pause to have a quick little look at it. That was the approach. I'm going to go now until the end of the season to show you exactly how it went and have a look back at our season as a whole. I'll see you in May. Hello, welcome to May in 2022 here. What a beautiful jump forward into the future that has been. We are then at the end of the season. We've completed season number 1, and now I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown. I'm going to show you exactly what's happened. We start off on the team that has just played in our most recent match, and you can have a little look through it. It's very close to the plan that I suggested to you at the start of the video, isn't it? We've stuck with the pasty tactic all the way through the season, and it has been shockingly successful. We have won the league in League One, which is against all of the odds. We had a look at the season preview. We were predicted to finish 17th, but with only 3 transfers, and I've only made 2 free transfer signings, we've gone and won the league on 104 points. And I suppose the next thing that you're going to notice is the fact that Yaya Sanogo, one of our free transfers, we've made one more. I'll show you him in a second. Yaya Sanogo, though, has finished as the top goal scorer in the league. He's got 25 league goals since we signed him. I told you he would score goals. I was confident he'd score goals. He's got the profile right. If you maybe need to take it down a couple of steps because we're in League One, but the profile fits. He's big and he's tall. You could play him in a range of different roles. I played him mainly as a pressing forward on the right-hand side. I'll show you the tactic again to explain that. But he scored plenty of goals for us. 25 in the league, 29 all competitions. To be honest, we didn't do great in the cup, so that's why there's not many extra goals on top of it. But a 7.57 average rating, 9 assists as well to that. He's back. Will he be able to cut it in the Championship? That's what we're going to find out next season, because that's where we're going to be playing our football next season. which is very, very exciting, isn't it? Going back to the tactic then, before we go and have a look at some of the results and some of the way that we played, I did switch it up a little bit. I tried some other things too. Let me show you the other things that we looked at. Maybe we were looking at using the spanner, but with a cam in there. I don't think I used this in any games this year, but actually this was the other idea that I had, which I think I played 2 matches, but decided we were way too exposed at the back, so I went back to the pasty, as you can see it, which actually was quite well balanced. We were decent defensively. How many goals did we concede? We only conceded 43, which is not too bad at all. Is it one of the? It's one of the lowest in there. It's not, maybe not super low, but we did then go and score loads of goals, which is definitely the highest goal scoring. So we had the best goal difference as well as the highest points total. So maybe not quite defensively solid, but definitely great going forward, and sometimes you have to balance those two things, don't you? There it is. Look, the other then, you want to know it, I'm sure. The other transfer that we did make is the signing of Daniel Opari. So you can see it. These are our most recent 2 signings. Those are the 2 that I did. These were all done before I took over. You can still see though, total bought 0, total sold 0. We brought in Daniel Opari in January, and he turned out to be a brilliant signing for us. You might know him. He is a bit of an FM legend, at least for me anyway. Him and Sonogo, actually, both of them. If you've been playing FM or even Championship Manager for those years, you might know these players. Daniel Opari, however you want to say his name, was excellent when he came in, a 7.26 average rating. He's a right back. I think he might be able to do it in the Championship as well. We'll find out, won't we? We'll go and see what the squad's like and find out how we do in the Championship. Let me show you the results then and how things went. Who are our big heroes for the season, I suppose you want to know as well. In fact, before we look at the results, just show you some of the stats here. We had Yaya Sonogo, as I mentioned, scoring 29 goals. Ryan Hardy, I mentioned that I might use him on this left-hand side. I did for a lot of the season. It was either him out here, and then it would be Ennis dropping out, and it would be, as I mentioned before, Danny Mayer coming in. You see, Mayer played 40 matches as well. He was almost always in this team. Sorry, there he is, 40 matches there, look. Scored 6 goals. Was almost always in the team as well. They were definitely rotating quite a lot. But Niall Ennis came back from his injury. He had a bit of a bad injury at the start of the season, came back and did score 10 goals playing as one of our strikers too. As I mentioned, it's quite an intense tactic, as you see by the intensity here. We were, of course, pressing. Let's have a look at the out of possession. Look, pressing really, really high and getting ourselves right up in the faces of the opposition. So it took a lot out of the legs. We did have to do some rotation. Dan Scarr played 30 matches. Look, for example, this defense did rotate quite a lot. We've got players down here playing. Edwards played 36 matches, 26, 27 from Garrick and from Broom. I think Broom was quite a good option on this right hand side this year, coming in as playing as this inverted winger. So let's have a look at the results then as we went through the season. You can see we started off very, very well with our first 5 games being won. Up until this Shrewsbury game here, we won that one, Ryan Hardy scoring. We lost our first game on in the Carabao Cup as we lost to Ipswich. Ipswich were a really good side this year. Did they end up finishing second? They did, yeah. Macaulay Bonne is a fantastic striker this year. Really, really good, especially at this level in League One. They will be joining us in the Championship next year, and they very much deserved it. We did lose to them in the Carabao Cup there. That was the end of one of our cup journeys. The other cups, again, they didn't go particularly well. We'll get to that. We beat Fleetwood. Then we were playing in the Papa John's Trophy. We finished second in our group here. We lost to Arsenal under-23s. Martinelli scored there. Look, we beat Newport on penalties, and then we beat Swindon 4-0 to go through. After going through in that competition, it was actually once again Ipswich that knocked us out of another competition. A late goal from Matt Penny to knock us out of the Papa John's. That was in the second round. Look, I didn't really mind. My focus was fully on the league. I won't lie to you. The league was what we were going for, and the league, obviously, as I've mentioned, we got loads of success in, didn't we? Going back to our season here, we beat Portsmouth here. This was a big win. Yaya Sonogo really settling in, look, scoring a hat-trick in this game, beating them 4-3. We had some losses, we had some good wins as we go through. Look, lots of draws in the row here in October. I think that was a result of our team being quite tired, and we were having to rotate quite a lot here. Our FA Cup campaign started against Dartford. We won 6-0. Another hat-trick from Sonogo in that one. Some more draws in the league, as you can see. Then things started to click after we went through in the FA Cup, beating AFC Wimbledon, who are in our league. We beat them 2-0. After this, look, have a look at these results. After this, we started to just win games, beating Wickham 7-0. We did lose the odd one in there, eventually also going out of the FA Cup to Leeds. We got a Premier League tie in the third round. At home to Leeds, it got us a nice bit of money, but we did drop out of the competition there. And then, just look at this after that. lots and lots of wins as we pretty much rubber stamped our title at this stage. In fact, winning every game from the 15th of January all the way up until the 2nd of April. This game here was the game that settled the title, that won us the title. You can see the scenes as we lift the trophy. Against Oxford, it was a Yaya Sanogo goal, which was the one that capped it. Of course it was. After that, I did rotate quite a lot. We did lose a few games, as you can see, 3-0, 1-3. We won our last game of the season against MK Dons, though, 2-0. Luke Jeffcott, by the way, was pretty good in this. He's actually kind of surprised me on how good he was. I was looking at his profile thinking he doesn't look very good, but when he plays, he scores goals. He's only started 9 games and scored 11 goals, 13 off the substitute bench. I don't really know why he's so good, but I might keep him around because he seems to be super sub. He's a bit of an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe. Luke Jeffcott, you've impressed me. You've changed my opinion on you. I like you a lot. That is where we are currently at. There is one transfer that is coming in as well. I don't know if this guy's going to quite cut it, but there's not a lot going on in the free transfer market. So I know that we're losing some players on the end of their contracts. So I've brought in Baron Kimbamba for next year in the championship. The scouts seem to love him. I'm not quite fully convinced. He seems to be great in some areas like pace and decisions and marking and tackling, which is what you want in a centre-back. And then he lacks massively in other areas, like he's got 6 passing and 5 vision. I don't really want to play him as a ball player. We'll see whether he plays any games, but in terms of just bringing in some numbers, I feel like I have to. I will show you some of the options that we do have in terms of transfers. Here you see them. We are not yet up to that point where we can go and talk to those players who are playing in England. We will get to that though. Maybe like an Adam Phillips from Morecambe might be an option to play in our midfield. Possibly. I'm going to go and look at this and it will probably make up a big part of the next episode. Hopefully you're enjoying this series so far. Hopefully you're impressed by how the club has done, how the team has done so far. I've been really impressed. I've had a lot of fun with this. I think we might stick with the pasty in the championship. If there's any questions you want to ask me, I feel like let's do that as a bit of a thing this time. We'll go through any questions in the next episode. I'll put them up on the screen and we'll discuss things. So make sure you leave me those comments down below. And I guess that's where we will leave it for today. A super successful first season in our Plymouth save. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.